Which offense would you, if you had to choose one, would you put your marker down on right now,
Oh,
Chris?
it's a great question, and I don't know. McVay is the young gun, and he's going to have a long shelf life, and goodness only knows how good he's going to get because he's so good right now. I mean, what he did turning that operation around, and now with receivers getting hurt, and it doesn't seem to matter. I don't think their protection was great last night, and Goff is make a mistake or two, but they just keep on chugging along with all of that stuff. But I think that at the end of the day, I think you have a choice to make. I think Goff is a little bit of the do everything, and with McVay, you definitely have Mahomes, who is, I think, the most athletic of that group that you just mentioned. And I put Trubisky a little bit in that group as well, although I don't think he throws it as well as Mahomes does. But there's something lurking in the back of my mind about Drew Brees. We had a graphic up the other day, and I don't know why. I should have known this. I vote on the MVP every year. But when I read that he had not ever won the MVP,
it's crazy.
I was like, you got to be kidding me. I mean, here's the guy that's been over 5,000 yards, 5 times, something like that. I think more than all the rest of the history of quarterbacks combined. He's been over 5,000 yards. He's a Super Bowl winner. And I think he's just kind of yinged when other people have yanged when it came to the MVP. Somebody even had better years, and maybe Mahomes is the one that knocks him out, or Gurley, or whoever it may be this year. But there's something about what's going on in New Orleans right now and their ability to create offense with those two running backs and Michael Thomas, obviously. But and when you look at the defenses involved, and I think the potential is there in New Orleans for that to be maybe just a notch above what's happening right now in L.A. and Kansas City. But who knows? I always say the season doesn't even start till we get to Thanksgiving. So happy football season.
I know, exactly. And, normally when somebody gets a Lifetime Achievement Award for, when they haven't won an Oscar yet, or they do finally win their Oscar to, I guess, cross streams here of sports and pop culture, it's for a movie that might not be their best ever, but it was definitely good enough for that year. This could be Breeze's best year ever, though. I mean, what he's doing is absurd. And in terms of the offense, with Sean Payton, they've thrown Taysom Hill in this mix, too. So it's not just the Payton Breeze offense of previous years. He's adding what everybody else is doing with a totally different quarterback. It is something else with Kamara and Ingram. And I've never, again, your football life's coming up, so you know what it's like running routes. You know what it's like running routes as a champion in championship seasons, Cris Collinsworth. I mean, what this kid, Michael Thomas, is doing is absurd. He could be having the best wide receiver year ever, and I understand what I'm talking about with other people, too.
Yeah, and I think that's the concern with them is, can some of those younger receivers, have an impact? But as long as they don't lose Ingram and Kamara, I think that 1-2 combination is really something. But I'm with you. I love what they're doing with Taysom Hill. I mean, this joker can fly. He can throw the football. He completed a bomb in the game we did against the Vikings. But I think that it forces you to practice other stuff. I mean, I remember my son played for Notre Dame, and they used to go in and play Navy or Army or whatever. And, they'd be on a roll and stopping offenses and playing well. And then all of a sudden, here comes the triple option. And it's like, all right, I need you guys to forget everything you know about playing defense because now we got to do this, right? And so now you end up in the same situation when you're playing the Saints or you're playing Mahomes or you're playing Trubisky. That backside run support just can't be there because they have to settle in and play the quarterback. And then you add the RPOs on it. I've talked, we talk to every defensive coordinator every week, and they're now to the point where they go, we can't cover all this stuff. We just can't. If they get the reads all right, we literally cannot cover it. We cannot cover the inside or outside zone moving to the right without any support from our backside linebacker. We can't cover the possibility of the quarterback holding on to it and running the football. And we certainly can't cover the wide receiver running a slant behind our linebacker if he steps up to play the quarterback or the inside zone. So if they really get this offense right, we can't cover it. And so they have to sort of hope that they're going to make a mistake somewhere along the way, and that through pressure or blitzing or whatever, that they force them into some bad plays, a little bit like what the Rams did last night.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.